First of all, of course, from Westernville, New York, Mrs. Sadie Evans, Richie's mother. And of course, you've met her many times in Victory Lane, and again today, Mrs. Lynn Evans of Rome. But maybe the ones you don't get to see so much, and we'd like you to meet them too, of course. One of our co-marshals today, his son Richie Jr., his daughter Tara Evans, his daughters Jill Evans of Rome, New York, Jackie Evans of Rome, New York, Jody Evans of Hollywood, Florida, and Janelle Evans, the daughters and son of Richie Evans. In addition, today, ladies and gentlemen, as we have done on 2 previous occasions, we would like to let you know that the Stafford Motor Speedway will be dedicating Section D of our grandstands in memory of Richie Evans, joining greats Fred DeCero and Ed Flemke, who have already had sections dedicated in their honor here at Stafford Motor Speedway. Later on today, when we get set to start the Coors 15th Annual Spring Sizzler, Billy Nisowitz and Richie Evans Jr. will be here as our co-marshals to get our drivers started off in today's competition. All right, we have some pictures to take. We have SK and modified consolations to run before we have set the fields for this afternoon's National Parts Peddler 50-lap SK modified event, and of course, our 80-lap Coors Spring Sizzler, which still has to have its field set. We've got a lot of racing for you this afternoon. Enjoy your afternoon on this glorious Sunday. Let's turn things back up now to Russ Dowd.
Thank you very much, David. We'd just like to remind you that if your favorite driver happened to be here in practice with us yesterday morning, photos are available in the photo booth for sale today. Now, there is, in addition to that collection of photos, a terrific collection of Winston Cup and Grand National late model cars available. Photo booth, of course, is located right next to Big D's behind the small grandstand, just coming off of the 4th turn area. So you can pick up photos of your favorite competitor at the photo booth today. Racing Magazine, Grand National Scene. Speaking of Stock Car Racing Magazine, a couple of very, very interesting magazines that we had the opportunity to go through a little bit earlier. As an example, the April issue. On the cover, none other than our own Ron Bouchard, and some very interesting articles that bring stock car racing just a little bit closer to home, including an article on the 2 Christopher twins who compete here in the SK Modified division. So you will find that particular issue extremely interesting. And the May issue of Stock Car Racing Magazine has a tremendous article on Jackaroot and this facility. So you have the opportunity to save, depending on the subscription that you would like, up to 70% by subscribing today. Championship a total of 9 times. Qualifying round number 1 for Coors Spring Sizzler Sunday. SK Modified cars, 3 cars will qualify. Here is how they're slated to go to post. Starting up front, car number 22G out of Norwich, Connecticut, it is Gary Ryan. And alongside in car number 3X, the driver hails from Stamford, it is Eddie Spires. 2 rows back on the inside, car number 33 out of Colchester, Connecticut, it is Jerry Pearl. And alongside Jerry will be the 01 for Monroe, Connecticut driver Ray Jacob. Car number 16, the driver hails from Orleans, Massachusetts. He is Marcel Latois. And car number 179 moves alongside the Waterbury driver. It is John Jensen. 4 rows back, inside row, car number 25 out of Kensington, Connecticut. The driver is Chris Bonuito. And alongside will be car number 26. That is George Godaskas, who hails from Glastonbury. Off the turn, Chris Hopkins now stares them down. They begin to wind it up. Green flag is out. The first qualifying round for the afternoon is underway. Gary Ryan out of Norwich, Connecticut takes the red and white car number 22 deep into turn number 1, but here comes Jerry Pearl. Pearl moves down on the inside. He makes it look so easy. Pearl, the victim of a mishap right in turn number 3 yesterday while leading his heat race, picks up the lead coming off the 4th turn. Jerry Pearl, your brand new leader with only 1 lap posted up on the scoreboard. Here's how they shape up. off the second turn and down the backstretch. It is Jerry Pearl in the 33. Then it is car number 22 of Gary Ryan as the other 22 of Jeff Barry spins into the infield. Eddie Spires in car number 3X holds down that third spot. Fourth is Marcel Latoile. Remember, only 3 cars move into the feature event. 3 cars make the move to the National Parts Peddler 50. Everyone else has to load it up and head on home for the rest of the weekend. The laps continue to tick away now. Jeff Barry finding himself in an unenviable position, about to be put down 1 lap by your leader. Jerry Cook in the 33. Trouble develops quickly down in turn number 1. Marcel Latoile is up in the wall. Eddie Flemke goes around. Chris Bonuito also involved. Flemke is able to pull away under his own power, but that will not be the case for car number 16, Marcel Latoile, and the 25 of Chris Bonuito. Marcel is able to drive the car down off of the wall, but you can see obvious front end damage done to the Variety Auto car number 16. You'll head to the pit area. Could be something as simple as a steering arm, but chances are it's a lot more severe than what it looks like from this vantage point. To drop the car down into the infield, Chris Hopkins lets them go. Jerry Pearl once again picks up where he left off. It is Pearl out in front. Gary Ryan holds on to that second position, but Ed Flemke is right there knocking on the back door. Flemke in the 3rd position, car number 10. Works his way off that second turn and takes a look underneath Ryan. Into turn 3 they go. Wheel to wheel. Flemke on the inside, Ryan up on the outside. Ed Flemke pulls up alongside and picks up that second spot by a nose into turn number 1. Flemke has the position. He now looks to the rear bumper of Jerry Pearl, who continues to dominate the event. Gary Ryan is drop kicked back into the 3rd position. He is the man on the bubble. Eddie Spires goes around in car number 3X. Spires comes in contact with Bob Peckham in the 59. And it looks like we will go. In fact, we do. We go. Green flag is out once again, down on the bottom groove and picking up the lead one more time. The man from Colchester, Jerry Pearl, shows the short way around into turn number 1. Pearl leads the charge. Ed Flemke Jr. runs in that 2nd spot. Gary Ryan holding on for 3rd. The battle is for 4th. Jeff Barry, who nearly went a lap down early on in this event, now finds himself sitting in that 4th position. He is 1 spot away. The red and white number 22 and the blue and white number 22. Bob Peckham, 2 spots out. Ray Jacob, 3 spots out. Eddie Spires, 4 positions out of a qualifier. Through 3 and 4. The SK Modifieds rumble off the turn. It is still Jerry Pearl. 7 laps up on the Winston Racing Series scoreboard. 10 laps is the scheduled distance. This time around, the 2-lap marker will go up from Chris Hopkins. Single file through 3 and 4. Jerry Pearl off the turn, looks to the start-finish line. We've got problems developing over in turn 4. Peckham goes around in the 59. Jeff Barry, who was almost into a qual behind the main grandstand, waiting to purchase a nice tall Coors beer. Keep in mind that the beer garden, the white building, support them because they support us. Green flag, back out. It's Jerry Pearl once again at the line. 7 laps are in the record books. Through turns 1 and 2, a little tap on the bumper from Flemke as they work their way off the 2nd turn and down the back straightaway. Flemke leans on Pearl going into 3. He takes the high road. It is Pearl on the inside. Flemke looks to get hooked up in that high groove. He thinks better of it and drops back in. Now he looks to the outside once again as the 2-lap marker is out. 2 to go. It is Jerry Pearl continuing to set the pace. Only 3 cars will make the move as it stands now. Those cars are being driven by Jerry Pearl, the 33, the 10 of Ed Flemke, and the 22 of Gary Ryan. Final circuit on the half-mile into turn number 1. Jerry Pearl takes it down low. Flemke takes another look to the outside, but Pearl is able to get a bite on the bottom side of the racetrack. They work their way down that long back straightaway now. Across the line they will come. Leading the charge off the fourth turn is car number 33, Jerry Pearl, followed by Ed Flemke Jr., then the number 22 of Gary Ryan, one spot out of a qualifier, the 01 of Ray Jacob. 3 cars make the move into the feature event. They will be car number 33, Jerry Pearl out of Colchester, Southington's car number 10, Ed Flemke Jr., and the driver from Norwich, Connecticut, car number 22, Gary Ryan. Monroe's Ray Jacob, as we said, one spot away from qualifying. David, that's round number 1. Up next, round number 2.
6 is Lou Pryor. The 04, Bob Ermark, who caught the wall in practice here yesterday, but was able to make it back for the Consi tonight. The 86, only 3, 10 laps. Here they come, looking for green, this time off turn 4. Here's your green. The field is underway. It's Holridge and Agor going forth to turn 1. Holridge will hold the inside line. Rick Summers trying to move up underneath. Horton on the outside as they stay side by side down the backstretch. Now Holridge begins to stretch it out. He'll pull away from Agor, who drops into the second spot to protect the inside. With Ricky Summers on his bumper, Summers bobbles a bit as he has to back out of it after catching a little back bumper there, and Horton moves into third. Horton sits on against the Armco barriers to the outside of turn number 2. Here comes your field, and the caution is out. Holridge gets on the gas quickly. They stack him 3 deep coming off turn number 4, trying to get to the front. Holridge your leader, Agor, and Horton going for second. Paquette sits fourth. Fifth is Konopka. And Louis Pryor has moved into 6th. Trouble in turn 2 as 1 gets loose. That's Ed Vayon as he comes around. Cars breaking away. They may fight it out. Ricky Summers still has a long way to go to get to the top of the pack as we're in lap number 3 now. Holridge taking a wide turn out of 4. Beginning to put some distance on Agor and Horton. Ricky Summers a long way to go after sitting up fighting for that 3rd spot. Horton gets the pressure put on him. Here's Peckham now looking to the outside of Paquette if he can find room in turn 3. They'll play bumper tag over there. Paquette almost gave him some room on the outside as he came off turn 4, but slipped back up in the groove in time to protect his flank. He's got his sights set on Horton now. Holridge cruising away and pulling off a bit more from Agor as they go into 3. It's Holridge, Agor, and Horton, your top 3 runners. They'll make it if nothing changes. Paquette trying to catch up along with Peckham. Birkinshaw pulling out of the event in the 88. He's got problems. Recaro making some moves up through the field now, he almost made a move in the wrong direction in turn 2. Here they are now into turn 4. Lou Pryor looking for some outside running room. Now he'll swing to the inside. He'd like to come up the line and pick off a couple. Agor holding off Horton. Here's a move by Peckham. He can't go inside on Paquette. Paquette drops down to protect himself. Now Paquette almost out of shape. Here comes Peckham to the inside, trying for 4th. There's your battle right now. Buddy Peckham sticks his nose in there, takes him high, and almost he does lose out, brings it across the grass. A break for Paquette, a bad break for Peckham, and almost brought Recaro with him. Holridge continues to lead. Agor 2nd, Horton 3rd. The infighting's back in the pack. It's Paquette and Pryor, the only 2 that have a shot to getting to the top of the field if nothing happens here. White flag is out, 1 to go for Holridge. Dale Holridge on his final. Holridge, Agor, and Horton. Paquette trying to turn the wick up and make a last half-lap dash, and here he comes with Louis Pryor on his bumper. They're making the run for it. Will they do it by the time they hit the checkers? No. It'll be Holridge, Agor, and Horton who make it in. Paquette and Pryor follow in 4th and 5th. Recaro comes up to 6th. Buddy Peckham takes down the 7th spot. So the field is set now for the National Parts Peddler 50-lap event, which will be coming up here in just a few minutes. We have a couple of modified consolation events to go. and then we will be set to get the field ready for the 15th annual.
They work their way off the turn. The green flag is out, and we're underway with the NASCAR Winston Racing Series Modifieds. Into turn number 1, it is the 7 of Baldwin. Baldwin gets a good bite off the second turn and blasts down the long back straightaway. Deep into turn number 3, it is Baldwin. Up front, John Blewett runs in that second spot. 2 drivers from outside of the New England area are currently leading this event. Only 2 cars will make the move into the Spring Sizzler later on today. As things stand right now, it is the 7 of Tommy Baldwin and the 09. However, caution is out on the speedway. Reports are a real good chauffeur behind the wheel of car number 2X. Green flag is out. Baldwin picks up where he left off. Blewett follows him into turn number 1. The speedy dry gets kicked up. Jerry Marquis moves in for his attack as they work their way off of turn number 2 and down the back straightaway. Here comes S.J. Evanson up on the outside of Paul Verreri. Through 3 and 4, we have Evanson up on the outside. Tom McCann also hooked up in that high groove as Paul Verreri holds on in the 7-11. 2 laps now posted, and trouble develops down in turn number 1 as McCann goes around, Evanson goes around, and Mark Fleury. But the Dairy Farms machine, the 52, apparently will need some help, as will be the case with Tom McCann in car number 16. And Blewett with a good jump off of that 4th turn. Chris Hopkins will not let him go. The pretend green comes out, and we immediately go back to caution. Baldwin and Blewett. Marquis and Albro. The pace quickens. Out front with a good jump this time is Baldwin. They get the okay, and at the line, Tommy Baldwin leads them. Jerry Marquis managed to find some running room down to the inside. He wheels car number 2X into that second spot, and down the back straightaway they go. It is car number 7, Tommy Baldwin, out front, but right on his rear bumper, the young fellow we talked to you about before, who has competed in the street stock division, who has competed in the pro stock division. Now running an open wheel NASCAR modified for the car owner who won the very first Spring Sizzler. Off the turn, Jerry Marquis in the Judkins 2X. At the line, it is still Baldwin with 4 laps up on the Winston Racing Series scoreboard. Jerry Marquis. Baldwin runs into problems, gets a little bit out of shape coming off the turn. He drops from the pin to the very back of the pack. That certainly changes things around now as young Jerry Marquis holds the lead position at the halfway mark. It's Marquis into turn number 1. Blewett is right on his tail. Making a move up on the outside is Brad Hightower in the 90. Hightower now takes it in deep, but he gets high, wide, and handsome and loses it between 3 and 4. Brad Hightower goes around in the Nelson Racing. It's the pace in the Summers Auto Body Supply Chevrolet Cavalier. Then it is John Blewett, car number 09, the Ideal Kitchens car. Bob Paul Verreri, Dennis Albro are still in competition. One more time. 6 laps on the scoreboard. Green flag will once again knock them out. A little too much of a jump. Trouble develops down in turn number 1. Fortunately, everybody makes it by a spinning S.J. Evanson directly to the pit area. Green flag is out. A nice start this time. Jerry Marquis continues to have a slight advantage at the line, but John Blewett is not about to give up 1 inch of real estate. out on the racetrack. The 2X of Marquis moves out into the lead. Bob Pulvereri suddenly finds some horsepower underneath the hood of car 711, and Pulvereri blasts into that second spot. Bob Pulvereri, who won a Spring Sizzler only 5 years ago, works his way down through turns 1 and 2. He takes a look underneath Marquis. 2 cars, only 2 cars, move into the feature event. It is still Jerry Marquis setting the pace, but Pulvereri now takes another look to the inside. Marquis gently closes the door. We find ourselves at the 2 to go marker. 2 laps for Jerry Marquis. Bob Pulvereri. 1 spot out is John Blewett. Dennis Albro, the 52 of Fleury. As car number 35 for S.J. Avanson begins to drop off the pace. Avanson pulls to the infield as the white flag is out. Final circuit of competition on the half mile. Last chance for these drivers to make it into the 80-lap Spring Sizzler. Can Bob Pulvereri pull it off as they go down the back straightaway? Or will the young lion, Jerry Marquis, prevail at the line? We'll find out in 200 feet. It looks like it will be the 2X of Jerry Marquis, followed by Bob Pulvereri. Those 2 cars make the move up into the Sizzler. 1 spot out, Lakewood, New Jersey driver John Blewett in car number 09. So it was a long time coming, David, but that's the way it shaped up as a result of 10 laps of competition for the modifieds. Jerry Marquis out of Enfield, taking down the win after finishing second at Riverside Park last night. And the 711 of Bob Pulvereri back after his retirement to take down that second and final qualifier for the 80-lap Spring Sizzler.
Fitting, of course, that Jerry Marquis should have the 2X in victory lane and be qualified for the event after he's on the late model and pro stocks ranks, and now finds himself with a pretty nice ride, and the chance will be Gary McDonald in car 26 Long Island. Here comes the field for Chris Hopkins Green, and we're off, and quickly Rick Fuller jumps into the lead. Going second will be Riggett. Hewitt goes third. Fourth is Michaud, and trying to come up to fifth will be Bob Park. The rest of the field's got to hammer their way up through the back of the pack. Riggett getting a challenge from Hewitt on the inside, but fights it off in turn 3 and holds on in turn 4. Your leader stays Fuller after 1 lap. Fuller pulling away. Here's Hewitt going to the inside. Riggett shuts the door again. Hewitt can't keep it low. Riggett goes down low and closes the door, holds on to that second and final qualifying spot for the event. Here's Hewitt again trying the inside, and Riggett won't let him in. Fuller leads. Riggett second. Hewitt third. Michaud and Park. Colton. Up high goes Riggett. Inside goes Hewitt. Wheel to wheel off turn number 2. It'll be Hewitt and Riggett fighting for second spot. Inside groove should prevail. Let's see what happens off turn 4. Riggett slides a little bit higher. Still has a good bite, but it'll be Hewitt off turn 4 for the 3rd spot. Ted Riggett's going to have to work hard to fight his way back. We see smoke or something trailing from underneath that race car. And look out, Hewitt slows as the caution comes out. And the slowing car number 26 of Gary McDonald heads slowly for pit road as the caution comes out. Modifieds waiting for a green. No chance. Look out, trouble coming through the front stretch area. The caution remains on the racetrack, and Bob Park and Gene Michaud lock it up coming through the straightaway and go sliding to the infield. Some problems. Hewitt wanted to get started. Now they come up quick, and the caution remains on the racetrack as the field again spreads themselves out 4 wide. Fuller trying to do a little psych job on Hewitt, but Rick Fuller's a real youngster compared to Hewitt in terms of... Here comes your field again. Fuller gets the green. He's going to try to get the jump on Hewitt. It's Hewitt and Leedy with Colton chasing Fuller, and Leedy will jump into second spot into turn 1. Colton goes inside Hewitt. Hewitt is going to have to climb back up the ladder as they come off turn number 2. He'll pull off 3rd spot as he pulls past Colton. Dives into 3rd, and Jan Leedy sits in the 2nd spot. He has the qualifying spot if he can hold on. That's the bubble position. Rick Fuller in the M.J. Sullivan Chevrolet takes the number 55 into turn 1 and hangs on. Leedy goes low. Hewitt cannot hold it low enough and loses ground. Halfway coming up now. Leedy backs off quickly and sets Hewitt back a notch or 2. And it'll take Moose at least a half a lap to regain what he lost when he had to jump out of the throttle. Leedy protecting his position. Could have been a little bit dangerous for him if he'd stayed on it too long. They both might have come around, but Leedy succeeds, and now he closes in on the rear bumper of Rick Fuller. Sights him in down the front chute. A car length or less between your front two cars, the two who could make the qualifying here if they do it. Leedy looks inside. Fuller shuts the door. Fuller keeping it low, trying to protect the inside. Leedy setting up high, looking down low as they come off turn 4. Can't get enough mustard to come up and loses about 2 car lengths on your leader, Rick Fuller. Fuller, who got his start in street stock racing, won 14 races at Monadnock Raceway about 5 years ago. Now up, it should be Fuller and Leedy. Half a lap to go for young Rick Fuller. Shrewsbury, Massachusetts driver. And here he is for the checkers. It'll be Rick Fuller with a win. Jan Leedy for second, Hewitt for third, fourth to Colton. Jatkowiak will pull down the 5th spot. 6th will go to Michaud, and 7th
You can see, ladies and gentlemen, many of the drivers that have been circulating through the grandstands are now returning to the track and or to the pit area. And on behalf of Dick O'Brien, on behalf of the entire staff and management here at the Stafford Motor Speedway, and on behalf of the family of the late Richie Evans, a very sincere thank you to each and every one of you for supporting this fun drive here this afternoon. Thank you very, very much.
engines.
All 26 cars have now managed to pull away from the start-finish line, ready to go the distance. 50 laps is the scheduled distance for the Corky Stock of National Parts Peddler 50-lap event. Peddler 50-lap feature event on Spring Sizzler weekend here at the half mile at Stafford. An absolutely gorgeous day. A capacity crowd on hand to view this, the 15th running of this, the greatest race in the history of spring. Gives me a great deal of pleasure at this time to introduce to you once again the man who will call the start for this event, Dave Sutherland. Dave?
Thank you, Russ Dowd. The field is set. Peter Locke pulls the Stafford Pontiac pace car onto pit road. We are set to go. Jack Ely gets going. Here's Kerry Malone on the outside. They're coming up through the gears off turn 4. There's the green. It'll be a fight for the lead on the outside. It's Gallup going inside. Malone to the outside, and Richie Gallup will come out of the second row and take over the lead coming off turn number 2. It's Gallup, Malone, Ely as they down the back stretch. Cy Allen in 4th. Fighting for the lead into turn 4. It'll be Richie Gallup leading the first lap of the Parts Peddler 50-lapper.
Richie Gallup has been a tough competitor already this year. His qualifying races he has won easily, and he looks to be in good shape with 1 lap down in this 50-lap feature right on his rear bumper. A man who took down his share of wins last year as well. Needham, Massachusetts driver Kerry Malone. Jack Ely, the independent who hails from Bethel, currently sits in that 3rd spot as the deck begins to shuffle now. Moving up on the outside is car number 10, the Lou Horton car, the 36 car for Gata, also on the move. Several cars hanging it all out. Michael Christopher in the 82, just to name a few. This time around, however, it is still Gallup.
Gallup holding on to the lead now as he dives into turn 1. He's got 2 car lengths on Kerry Malone. Ely sitting alone in 3rd. 4th is Cy Allen. He's getting pressure from Bob Potter and John Anderson. Ted Christopher in the 13. Here's Potter looking to the inside of Allen. Can he do it? Allen wibbles and wobbles a little bit, drops out of the groove, but falling off the pace is Anderson in the 89. Anderson slipping back and getting a challenge from Christopher as they run just ahead of Bob Gata in car 36.
Down the back straightaway they continue. The field beginning to get strung out just a little bit. The hot spot on the racetrack right now is that 4th position, as Dave said, down on the inside. Potter up on the outside. It is Cy Allen, wheel to wheel. Waiting in the wings is Christopher and Anderson. Those 4 cars bidding for 1 spot on the racetrack. As the first 3, we have trouble in turn 1. The 13 of Christopher goes around. That will bring out the very first caution for this 50-lap National Parts Peddler feature event for the SKs.
A bit. Will he dive onto pit road now? He will indeed. And quickly, here comes your race leader, Richie Gallup. The green is out. It's Gallup and Malone again. Trouble coming off the turn and into the wall. Wendell Kilcullen catches a piece of the 4th turn wall as he comes off turn 4. And the caution will go right back out again as the field begins to back out of it coming off turn 4. So the Stafford Springs driver, Wendell Kilcullen, runs into problems as he comes off turn 4 and catches a piece of the barrier. 86 begins at Waterford on the 27th. Here they come now. Once again, Richie Gallup looking to stay on top. Now a challenge. Ely gets inside Kerry Malone. Malone may find himself bumped to the outside of the racetrack here. And Jack Ely, your pole sitter, is going to fight off the challenge of Malone and take over 2nd. And there's Bob Potter working his way inside for 3rd if he can do it. Malone trying to keep the door shut on Potter, keep him down low. Look out! In trouble! It's Malone all the way around and out of harm's way, but not before 2 cars bounce off the wall. And 1 more, Rick Donnelly slides to the inside and catches the side of the Kerry Malone car and tears the sheet metal up pretty badly. And our leader, Gallup, spinning off turn number 2, ahead of all of that, is now heading right for pit road. Donnelly is unstrapping and climbing out of his car. Malone is also out. So both drivers are okay and looking over the damage to their respective cars.
That was one of those deals, Dave, where Rick Donnelly had absolutely nowhere to go. He came off the turn and suddenly the place that he wanted to be found somebody else in exactly that same spot. And unfortunately for Kerry Malone, he happened to be the one.
Well, the good thing is, of course, that Kerry was able to actually have a lot of pieces to pick up here. Damage is never fun. It's a short day for Kerry Malone, and we wish him well in the rest of the season. But
yeah, speaking of body work and
dives on the pit road, and here comes the field. Ely on the inside, Potter on the outside. Green flag is waving. Ely pushes the Ace Tire machine to the front and holds on. Potter slides into 2nd. Anderson sits 3rd on the outside. Cy Allen trying to find some running room inside. Here's Wayne Dion going for 5th. And 6th is Bob Gata.
As things shape up right now, Dave, John Anderson has been the man on the move. He started 7th on the grid currently with only 6 laps up on the scoreboard. Anderson has moved the John J. Brennan Construction Company. Civitello Racing Dodge into third. It makes a challenge for that second spot. Potter is able to pull away off the second turn. Anderson has to drop back in. Here comes Cy Allen in a bid to move up alongside of Anderson. Bobby Gaeta with the 36 also working his way to the front. Charlie Savage in the 11 is on a roll, and so is Ed Flemke in the 10.
Flemke works the outside. Here's your battle for second now. John Anderson looking inside Bob Potter. Anderson will try to squeeze out second place, and Allen finds room in the hole and dives in underneath Potter. Trouble in turn 3. Eddie Flemke and Dale Holridge come together as they get to the midpoint of turns 3 and 4. Flemke looks like he's going to be able to drive away from it. And after we have completed 7, we will regroup 1. Should be able to pull away shortly.
Anderson is doing double duty here this weekend. He is competing in both an SK and in a modified. Both cars appear identical. Of course, the only difference really being...
He's got Anderson breathing down his header pipes off turn 4. Caught on the outside again is Potter. Potter's going to try to race down there. Anderson tucked right underneath the back of Ely's 90X and into turn 2. It'll be Ely holding on, fighting off 2 race cars. Anderson on the inside. Potter backs out of it for a moment, and Wayne Dion slides up to 3rd. Cy Allen slips back to 5 and ducks right underneath Potter. Potter drops down into 5th. That shuts the door on Bob Gaeta, and quickly diving in there is Chwanski.
Cy Allen has been running exceptionally strong this season with that car number 85, and he's really showing his stuff. Jimmy Broderick goes around in the front stretch infield, refires, and we stay under green. Up front, it is still Jack Ely, car number 90, but right on his bumper, it is the 89 of Anderson. Anderson breathes right into that rear bumper of car number 90, and waiting in the wings is the 66 of Dion.
Up high is Allen in the turn. Not enough room for Bob Potter to slide underneath him. He was hoping he could get it there. Ted Christopher on the move, working the outside from the back of the pack, trying to move up. Broderick's got a long way to go to catch the top of the field. Allen high in turn. He's got a serious push, it appears, going out of the turns, but not enough for Bob Potter to slide underneath him at this point. Christopher picks off another one going up into turn 2. As he comes off turn 2, he's battling away there and may be able to pull off the spot from Agor. He does. Your leader is still Jack Ely. John Anderson goes 2nd. Wayne Dion 3rd. Cy Allen 4th. Potter is 5th. 6th now is Chwanski. Gaeta 7th. And Charlie Savage is up to 8th with Jerish 9th. And Bob Mercier has worked his way into the 10th position on the field. Anderson and Ely now beginning to break away slightly from the rest of the field as Wayne Dion protects his flank from the pressure of Cy Allen. Allen has Potter sitting on his bumper along with Joe Chwanski. Potter tries the inside of Allen again for a bid for 4th. It doesn't work. Here's Christopher. He's caught in a box down on the backstretch trying to get around Jerish. He almost took it 3 wide. And here's Anderson looking inside Ely. Anderson taking a shot at the lead, not quite able to take it away. Ely is not giving him the room he needs, and Anderson will have to be content to stay in 2nd for just another turn or 2. Cy Allen making another bid on the back bumper of Wayne Dion. It doesn't work. Christopher tried to get to the outside in his bid to move into the 11th position. He'll go around the outside of Mercier, and there should be a bid for 10th. Christopher takes over 10th. Ted Christopher making a nice run here right now. The field bearing down on the Broderick car, which had spun earlier. Right now, Jack Ely is still holding off John Anderson. Wayne Dion, Cy Allen, Bob Potter go 3rd, 4th, and 5th. 6th is Chwanski, 7th is Gaeta, 8th is Savage, 9th is Chris, 50. Dale Holdridge and Lou Horton have been trying to fight their way out of the back of the pack where they started. They've had no luck so far. Horton tries to make a move on Agor coming off turn 2, and it doesn't work. Anderson all over the back bumper of Jack Ely. And here's an attempt by Potter. He'll take over a spot. Turn 4. Wayne Dion all by himself in 3rd. 4th is Potter. 5th is Allen. And 6th right now is Bob Gaeta. Savage is 7th. Chwanski 8th. 9th is Christopher. And 10th alone is Bob Mercier.
Off of turn number 4, the field continues to rumble with 18 laps. Let's make it 19. Up on the scoreboard now. Jack Ely continues to hold off the charges of John Anderson as those two cars have managed to pull away. They've got about an 8-car length advantage over the 66 of Wayne Dion. Bobby Potter with about the same disadvantage over Dion as he sits in the 4th position. Cy Allen holding off the charges of Gaeta for the next spot on the racetrack as the field continues to watch the laps tick away. A spin out over on the backstretch, car number 26X, we believe, Gary Leach, and there also is a problem in turn number 2.
That's your leader.
It appears to be
it's your leader,
car number
Jack
90. It certainly is. The 90 of Jack Ely, the lead automobile.
The lead place is obviously not where
Stands on the gas, and Anderson says, "You may want to go, fella, but I'm not going to play that game." Half the field stacks up behind Anderson. The rest scoot out and a restart one more time. They look good. Even Steven off the turn. A perfect start. And Anderson gets loose. He goes up against the wall. John Anderson is out. Lou Horton hits the wall right at the start-finish line. Gary Leach is involved as well. Also, spinning out into the infield with Bobby Mercier, he is able to pull away under his own power. But Dave?
That's hairy. A report from Chuck Jeffries if he can get in 7 different places at once. As they put the hook on him, Lou Horton was able to get away from that one. He did a nice piece of driving by sliding through all of that and just coming to a rest Nerf bar against the retaining wall. You can see the scratch on his front bumper, but appears to be no damage beyond that. He's rejoined the field. But it's getting a little hairy out there for some of these fellas. Anderson went through the field and slid right back through again from the wall. It could have been a pretty serious crash had not the other drivers shown some heads-up driving to avoid getting any more seriously involved than what you've just seen.
The pace car heads for the infield. Wayne Dion picks up the pace. Chris Hopkins lets him go. Off the 4th turn. Everybody makes it across the line, and Wayne Dion picks up the lead in turn number 1 and begins to stretch it almost immediately. Dion holds down that number 1 spot. Bobby Potter in for 2nd. Then it is Bobby Gaeta. A little tap on the Gaeta bumper from Christopher, who just slides right in on the inside. Christopher not only finds room, but he makes a little room. Lloyd Agor also trying to move through with car number 78.
Lloyd Agor, who is having one of the better runs of the day, had to come from way out in the back of the pack in 24th starting position, now up to 5th. Here's Potter putting some pressure on Dion coming off turn 4. Potter and Dion fighting for the lead. Way out wide comes Christopher. Gaeta goes 4th, Agor 5th. And Michalowski currently sitting in the 6th spot in the 88X. On the outside, John Jarish, and he will lose a spot to Holridge as they come off turn 2 as Holridge moves up the line. Dion has put a tiny bit of distance on Bob Potter, but not much. And here's Ted Christopher. Christopher a little loose coming off the turn, but able to hang on. 23 complete. Moving up on the halfway mark, Jarish way high again. And there goes Holridge and Charlie Savage underneath as they move up from the middle of the pack. Savage will try to take a spot away from Holridge up behind Michalowski. Your leader, Dion. 2nd is Potter, 3rd, Christopher, and 4th is Bob Gaeta.
Next time around, the halfway marker will be displayed in this, the 50-lap feature event for the SK Modifieds. Chris Hopkins with the cross flags held high. Off of turn number 4, staring at that start-finish line. It's Warwick, Rhode Island driver Wayne Dion leading half the half. Christopher literally on the rear bumper of Bobby Potter as they both get a little bit squirrely into turn number 1. They're able to straighten it out. They run single file down the back straightaway. It is the 66 of Dion, the 51 of Potter, and the 13 of Christopher. 1, 2, 3, bumper to bumper across the line. 26 laps up on the scoreboard.
The battle going on behind them right now is for the 6th spot between Michalowski and Charlie Savage with Dale Holridge, and here's Lou Horton in the thick of things now too as they go into turn 2. The rest of the field is stabilized. There's your battle for 6th off of the turn 2, down the back straightaway into turn 3. Michalowski low, Savage high, Holridge and Horton, and here they are. Michalowski looks like he might have lost a little bit in the turn. Savage trying to crank it up down the straightaway. They are backing up behind those two as they go into turn 2, and it's going to be a real battle for 6th, 7th, 8th, and 9th.
No two ways about that, Dave. They run side by side. Savage with an advantage going into turn number 3. Lou Horton winding up car number 10. He finds running room up on the outside. He tries to get around Michalowski. He does it at the stripe. If he can hold on, he too will pick up yet another spot by taking that hard, high groove here on the half mile. Meanwhile, back up front, Wayne Dion continues to set the pace in car number 66. Bobby Potter in the second spot. Christopher now beginning to drop off the pace just a bit. However, that doesn't last for long as Christopher takes it in deep into turn number 1. He's not able to turn that into much more than an advantage of a couple of feet, but he still hangs tough. The 51 of Potter now looks to the outside of Dion. He brings Christopher to the high side of the racetrack with him.
Wide. And Ted Christopher's trying to find the best way to get around veteran Bob Potter. He's done it. He's to the outside. Can he stay there and hold Potter low? Maybe a little bit more off the turn. Now Jimmy Broderick having to battle for 6th as they swap positions. Horton holds the groove. Broderick bobbles a bit, and Savage will work to the outside of him. Cy Allen has moved up behind them. Dale Holdridge has fallen out of that battle considerably.
Absolutely incredible racing in about 4 different spots on the racetrack for most of the afternoon as the SK Modifieds do battle in their first appearance on Spring Sizzler weekend. The blue 66, the Chevrolet Cavalier body automobile for Wayne Dion leads the charge, and a real battle for that second spot between the 51 of Bobby Potter and the 13 of Ted Christopher continues to be waged on the racetrack. Christopher looks to the high side, has to think better of it. He drops back in, looks to the outside once more at the line. But Potter is able to not only put continuous pressure on Dion, but also use up enough racetrack to keep Christopher at bay.
Problem is, Christopher seems to be able to get into 3 and 4 much deeper and harder than Potter can, but coming out, he doesn't have the momentum.
He may not have had the horses to do it on the outside, but he found room on the inside.
The old rule is, if you're going by, go by on the outside, because I'm not going to give you the inside, but Potter made a miscue, and Christopher got it. Now he's going after Dion, almost makes contact on the front chute. Here's Christopher working over Wayne Dion. Dion, who's been behind the wheel of a modified for a long time. Christopher, a relative rookie at it. Here's Christopher working the outside of Wayne Dion. That's a hard place to go, especially off turn 4. He won't do it.
He can't find the running room, and he's really got to be careful because waiting there, just ready to pick his pocket, is the 51 of Bobby Potter. He wants to do the same thing to Christopher that Ted did to him just a couple of laps ago. Christopher now with a move to the inside of Dion. Wayne is able to close the door that time, but Christopher appears car number 66, the 85, we believe, of Cy Allen, has also gone around, bringing out the yellow flag. The question is now, for
field now, it'll be Christopher and Potter, Bob Gaeta and Lloyd Agor. Here's Christopher getting on the gas, Potter falling back in line. The green is out, and we're looking for green now as we come off the turn. Here's Christopher. Potter right on his bumper, pushing him down the front straightaway, backs out of it as Christopher goes a little high into 2, but dips down low enough to stay in front. Jerish falling to the back of the pack as everybody else races on by. It's Christopher, Potter, Gaeta, Agor and Horton, Mercier and Broderick with Chalonsky. Dale Holdridge trying to hang on to his spot just in front of Michalowski.
It is a Plymouth out front, the Bell Detroit Diesel Monticello used truck. Plymouth TC3 with Ted Christopher at the controls, leading the pack down that back straightaway. Problems once again, sidelining car number 11, Charlie Savage, apparently out of the event. Bobby Potter, car number 51, the Freddy's TV entry, continues to put pressure on the rear bumper of Christopher, but the laps begin to tick away now. We are down into the final 10 laps as Potter takes just a peek to that inside lane. Christopher drops it down low, closes that door. They ease their way off the turn, up near the wall with Potter, right on the rear bumper of Christopher.
Lou Horton having trouble with the number 10 after having a nice ride up to 5th place, has found himself having to do some catch-up now with less than 10 laps to go. Here's Christopher and Potter really battling it out. It doesn't look like there'll be much more of a battle. Wayne Dion's got a long way to go. Potter is not done putting the pressure on. He keeps making the inside, hoping Christopher will slide up a little bit or make some mistake. Here he is, a little tap to the left rear bumper as they come off the second turn. He'll try it again on the inside as they come into turn 4. Potter trying to look inside and encourage Christopher to head to the outside groove. Now he goes to the outside. Nothing there yet. Bob Potter and Ted Christopher going for it here in this National Parts Peddler 50-lap event.
You can see exactly what Bobby is trying to do to Christopher. He is trying to draw him up exactly the same way that Christopher drew Potter up out of the groove. Bobby is trying to get Ted to move just high enough so that he can tuck it down low and make the move underneath. So far, with 44 laps up on the scoreboard, the 13 of Ted Christopher has not fallen for the ploy as they come together going into turn number 3. Potter hooks the bumper of Christopher. Christopher goes around, and Bobby Potter emerges unscathed off the 4th turn.
Well, there's been a little tap, tap, tap going on there. It's the kind of thing that may be imperceptible unless you look very closely. And Christopher, for his own defense, might also have had that typical problem when the tire gets a little warmer. If you have to keep it on, you have to...
And that put Christopher into a slide toward the outside of the racetrack. Some pretty darn good driving on the part of both chauffeurs, as Christopher was able to keep the car off the wall, and Bobby Potter was able to keep his car straight.
Pits. Here's Potter down low, Gator to the outside. Agor trying to move up a tap from Broderick as he makes some contact with Mercer. The green is out. The field is under power. Christopher's going to have to get around Cy Allen, a tough man to pass. There's Potter and Gaeta, bumper tag out of turn number 2. Agor 3rd, 4th is Broderick, 5th is Dale Holdridge, then Chawanski and Dion. Christopher's picked off 1. He's looking for another one. He'll have to run the outside if he's going to do anything there. We complete lap number 45, and there are 5 laps to go now. Potter, your leader. Gaeta 2nd. Agor 3rd. 4th is Broderick, and 5th is Dale Holdridge. Christopher's up high, right in front of Cy Allen. Contact.
Christopher got completely out of shape that time, Dave, and Cy came around the corner, knew where to go. The two of them come together. Turn number 3, the field winds it up. Chris Hopkins lets him go, but we have instant trouble off of turn 4 as Gaeta and Agor come together, and those two cars find themselves locked just coming off of turn number 4.
Well, they attempt to try to get there. Agor's charge from the back of the field will end. And here's Potter trying to pick off a piece of the lead. He's got it. He's got Broderick banging bumpers and Holdridge doing the same thing. Christopher falling behind him until the car sorts itself out. Bob Potter takes the green first into turn 1. Jimmy Broderick, look out, trouble. Chawanski all the way around in front of 2 cars up against the wall. It's Chawanski and Jarish bouncing down into the side of Gaeta. Michalowski still going. Ted Christopher escapes it all, and Jarish is the man to avoid, make contact, and go bouncing into the wall. Jarish got caught on the high side. Ted Christopher. The Holdridge slips up inside Broderick as they go for the start. It looks like there will be no start, and they'll go back and regroup and try another time.
Round and round we go. They begin to quicken the pace. Chris Hopkins lets them go, and off the turn, contact made. Broderick goes around. Holdridge is involved, and Dale Holdridge has the right front tire go down. Jimmy Broderick loses the left rear. He is able to pull away. Minor damage done to 2 cars, but the field is reduced to 7.
And Broderick really wants to get that car into the pits. Potter on the gas. He got away from it that time. Mercier pulls down in behind him. Michalowski to 3rd on the outside. Horton in 4th. Then Bob Gaeta 6th, or rather 5th. 6th is Chawanski. Christopher 7th, and 8th is Broderick. They could run this tight all the way to the finish if they are careful. Potter, your leader. Mercier 2nd. Horton moves into 3rd. Chawanski to 4th. But Michalowski wants a piece of it down on the inside. They come to the stripe. Lap 46 led by Potter.
Potter deep into turn number 1 as he begins to show some advantage over the rest of the field. Mercier holds on for that 2nd position in that red car number 90. But here comes Lou Horton. He begins to close in ever so slightly on the rear bumper of Mercier as they work their way through 3 and 4. Potter seems to be running pretty much uncontested for the lead as lap 47 is posted up on the Winston Racing Series scoreboard. The Lou Horton automobile running high and low on the front straightaway. It looked like he might have had a little problem with the car last time around. Ted Christopher now makes a move alongside Chawanski. Christopher in the 13 has worked his way from the back of the pack. He now takes the high road around Shawansky and has him at the line. Into the first turn, the final 2 laps. Car number 51, Bobby Potter, leads them off of the turn. Then it is the 90 of Bob Mercier, the 10 of Lou Horton, the 13 of Ted Christopher, rounding out the top 5. Car number 99 for Joe Shawansky. White flag lap is posted. One final circuit of the half mile for the SK Modifieds, the 50-lap National Parks Peddler feature event for the SKs about to be wrapped up. And off the turn, here comes your winning automobile. Car number 51 for Bob Potter, the 90 for Mercier, the 10 for Horton. Bobby Potter, car number 51, taking down the win unofficially, finishing second, again unofficially, the 90 of Mercier. Third would be car number 10 for Lou Horton, followed by the 13 of Christopher and the 36 of Gaeta. Those, of course, unofficial results at this time. We'll wait for the official scoring. But there appears to be little, if any, question that the man across the line, first and foremost, was car number 51. That's the 51, Freddie's TV entry for Bobby Potter. Potter now wheels that car into the Stafford Motor Speedway Winston Victory Lane. And he will climb out. He's being congratulated by Armand Nadeau, representative from Perfect Circle and Victor Gasket. National Parts Peddler 50 for the SK Modifieds goes into the record books with Bobby Potter as the winner. Let's go trackside now with Dave Sutherland. Dave?
Well, here we are in Victory Lane, and a very happy Bob Potter with us after picking off the victory here today. Bob, congratulations. You had a good run and more than a couple of anxious moments.
Well, it was pretty tough out there. You got a bunch of good guys. Tough. It's real tough. We come down here to race and beat these guys, but I'm sure glad we did it. It's the first race I won in my life, you know.
That's really great. You had some pressure from Ted Christopher, who was looking good up front there for a while, along with Wayne Dion, and finally with you, Bob Mercier, who didn't even appear there for a while. You've got a happy crew, and you must be excited about what's happened here.
Oh, we're all excited. We needed this to pump us up, you know. I mean, we sure needed it, you know. And I'd like to thank everybody that's helped us out. I got a hell of a crew. Freddie's TV, Hoyle Trucking, just a bunch of good guys, you know. We're just trying to get our things together here.
Well, Corky, what do you think of the man who pulls off the first annual SK Modified National Parts Peddler feature event?
He certainly earned that win. That was a real tough one.
Corky, we have a couple of other awards we'll get to in a moment. Right now, Bob Potter, all yours. It's a real $100 bill, too. That's nothing phony. Okay, we also have a special award from Big D's Novelty Stand, and Sarah Pansera is the one that's making the presentation from Big D. That's another $100 for Bob. That'll take care of the tires that they have to get ready for the next event.
Ronnie. We're taking it back now. Taking it back. I want to see the green, the green. Ronnie, you looking this way? There you go, Phil. Yeah.
Okay, Corky, we have one more award. We have another $100 sitting in your pocket here that we need to dispense with to the other driver that helped make this a real exciting race. And who do you think?
Mike Christopher.
Or Ted Christopher?
Ted Christopher, number 13.
Ted Christopher, number 13, indeed. And well earned. It's hard to tell him apart, but he knows who he is. Thanks.
That fellow drove a terrific race. We have a $100 bill here for him.
We also have a crowd here on the Victory Lane trailer, as well as a very happy Bob Potter crew and sponsors climb aboard here. Folks from Freddie's TV and the whole crew that's worked so hard to get him into Victory Lane here this afternoon. A long time, and the crew chief for Richie Evans car for so many years, young Richie Evans Jr. and Billy Nisowitz, our grand marshals for this afternoon's Coors Spring Sizzler. And Ed Yarrington has a special presentation for them.
Yes, we have a couple of plaques here for Billy Nisowitz and Richie Jr. I think you gave me the wrong one, the bottom one. It's my pleasure to have these people here, and I'd like to thank all you fans for the donations and contributions you've made to the Richie Evans Memorial Fund. And I have Billy's here, and Dexter gave me the wrong one for Richie, and he's going to get the right one now. Thank you. Congratulations, Bill. Richie, we got your plaque coming. You gotta smile, Richie. Okay, we're gonna introduce the drivers and you can shake your hand. Okay. Nice up here. Okay, right here's okay.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, now let's introduce you the starting field for this afternoon's Coors Spring Sizzler. First of all, let me introduce to you the first alternate. Should anything happen to one of our starters before the green flag falls, this driver would take up the rear of the field in the 09 John Blewett. Now, starting in 30th position, and our 29th and 30th starters are provisional starters. They are drivers who have finished in the top 3 in the last year, but didn't make a feature. They have the opportunity. They have used their provisional starting positions. And starting 30th, a provisional starter from East Northport, Long Island, New York, driver of car number 19, Bob Gardner. Bob Park in the Gardner Auto Parts machine. Starting 29th and also a provisional starter from Bellport, Long Island, New York, in car 7, New York, Tommy Baldwin. Our 28th starter from Williamson, New York, the driver of car 25, Jan Leedy. And going 27th on the grid this afternoon, qualifying through the consolation round from West Springfield, Massachusetts, a former winner of the Spring Sizzler, the 7-Eleven, and Bob Pulvery. Starting 26th this afternoon, one of the young Lions coming up through the ranks in Winston Racing Series action from Worcester, Massachusetts, in 55, Rick Fuller. A good run to pick off a win in this qualifying event and make the field. From Enfield, Connecticut, in the Judkins 2X, here's Jerry Marquis.
Good luck.
Next on the starting grid, after having a fair day at Darlington yesterday, flew up here to take the wheel of the Len Bowler number 3 from Fitchburg, Massachusetts. Here's Kenny Bouchard. Next on the starting grid beside Ken in the 10G from Southington, Connecticut, Stan Greger. Starting in 22nd starting position today, a former winner many times over here at Stafford Speedway from Rehoboth, Massachusetts, in the Mystic River Marina number 4, Carl Bug Stevens.
Hi, Tiger.
Starting on the inside of Bugsy, after a good run in the Busch Dash yesterday from a Sonnet, Massachusetts, driver of car 79, Dave Resendez.
Oh, he's got his white shoes on.
Going 20th on the grid this afternoon from Dix Hills, New Jersey, driving car 31. Let's welcome to Stafford, Joe Mamalito. Going 19th on the grid this afternoon from Trenton, New Jersey, driving car number 88, here's Jerry Cranmer. Our 18th starter this afternoon, Mr. Excitement from Berwick, Pennsylvania, the driver of car 24, Jimmy Spencer. Starting inside Jimmy from East Granby, Connecticut in the Simons Excavating number 9, here's Ray Miller. Row 8, starting in 16th position from Green Farms, Connecticut in the 04, Corky Cookman. Inside Corky, starting in position 15 from Toms River, New Jersey. Let's welcome the driver of car number 27, Tim Airy. Going 14th in row number 7 from West Babylon, Long Island, New York, the driver of the 28 New York, George Brunholzl Jr. Starting inside George, position 13 from Shrewsbury, Massachusetts in the 2X Mass, here's Jeff Fuller. Well, you've met these gentlemen now once before, but let's give them their official introduction. Second fastest qualifier here yesterday afternoon, driving the Wilsburg number 5 from Baiting Hollow, Long Island, New York, Charlie J. Our 11th starter, hoping for a better run this time than he had once already this afternoon, from Milldale, Connecticut, the driver of number 89, John Anderson. Our 10th starter, from West Greenwich, Rhode Island now, in car number 15, Mike Stefanik. Starting inside Mike, car number 75, Lisbon, Connecticut driver Carl Pasteryak.
Good luck, Carl.
Starting 8th this afternoon, fastest qualifier, new track record at 19:06.6 from Forestville, Connecticut, the driver of number 11, Reggie Ruggiero. Starting 7th today, from Horseheads, New York, George, the Duke of Kent. Going 6th on the grid this afternoon, from Agawam, Massachusetts, the driver of car number 71, John Rosati. Going 5th this afternoon from Waterloo, New York. They say he has magic shoes. Let's see what happens at car number 12 today. Here's Mike McLaughlin. All right, down to the final 4. Starting in 4th position this afternoon from Ballston Spa, New York, driver of car number 73. Here he is, flying Brian Ross.
All right, buddy. I'll try hard.
Starting 3rd inside of row number 2 from Northampton, Pennsylvania. Let's welcome to Stafford Springs the driver of the U2, Tony And once again, ladies and gentlemen, the front row for this afternoon's 15th annual renewal of the Spring Sizzler from Mattituck, Long Island, New York, in the Mario Fiore number 44, Greg Sachs. And on the pole, from Howell, New Jersey, the driver of the 99, Jamie Tomeno.
Thank you, buddy.
That's your field, ladies and gentlemen. 30 starters will be turning loose these unlimited modifieds and let them go in the 15th annual Spring Sizzler. Our drivers now getting strapped in and set to turn the field loose. A fine representation of area speedways and speedway publications and their pace cars sitting in turn number 1, ready to pace the first couple of laps of this afternoon. Homage to the flag of the greatest nation in the world with our national anthem. And now, ladies and gentlemen,
begin to pull away as we are about to begin the 15th running of this, the greatest race in the history of spring. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Coors Spring Sizzler at the Stafford Motor Speedway. The parade of pace cars stretches down the entire back straightaway here on the half mile. The 600 horsepower ground pounders, the NASCAR Winston Racing Series Modifieds, work their way off the second turn. 80 laps is the distance for this, the 80-lap Spring Sizzler. Jamie Tomeno will bring the field around.
Message all about. Right on. You see this cat Shaft is a bad mother. What I'm talking about, Sheriff?
The Stafford Speedway, the Thompson Speedway, and Riverside Park. Gator Racing News. A Ford Motor Company pace car for Watkins Glen. The Speedway scene. The pace car that logged so many miles at this racetrack, the Pontiac convertible. Thompson Speedway again, and the 4774. set to go the distance. A tumultuous send-off for a field of 30 of the very best that NASCAR has to offer.
Field has received a clenched green flag, and ladies and gentlemen, we'll be looking for Peter Locke to take the pace car into the infield and turn loose with Tony Hirschman and Brian Ross, Mike McLaughlin, John Rosati, George Kent, as they get set to go with Reggie Ruggiero. Here they are, ladies and gentlemen. Watch for the green flag. The Spring Sizzler is underway, and Tomato leaps out to an incredible lead into turn one. It's Tomato, Hirschman, Sachs, McLaughlin, Ross, Ken on the inside, Rosati, Ruggiero, and down the outside, Mike Stefanik. Pasteryak, as they dice for position coming off turn four. The first lap is led by Jamie Tomato.
Turn number one, Tomato continues to set a torrid pace. He begins to open it up over Tony Hirschman as Tomato works his way down the back straightaway. The entire field getting strung out just a bit. Kenny Bouchard trying to scramble from the back of the pack, as are drivers like Bug Stevens and Rick Fuller. Up front, Mike McLaughlin is trying to close in on the rear bumper of Greg Sachs as the laps continue to tick away. Fewer up on the scoreboard, 78 left to go.
Tomato leads him down the back straightaway with Hirschman dueling with Greg Sachs for second place. Here's McLaughlin and Ross working the outside, trying to get around McLaughlin, gets it a little bit loose and has to bring it back in line. He's been able to run inside very well this weekend so far. Let's see what he does today. Brian Ross, here's Sachs again, trying Hirschman on the inside for second. No room there.
Down the back straightaway we go with 3 up on the scoreboard. The field remains pretty much single file. Lap number 1 in memory of Richie Evans from Don Rose and Sub Mason Contractors in Charleston. Jack Newhouser, Superior Process Company, brings us lap number 2. 3 from the Boylston Motorhome Rental Company Incorporated. Mansfield Marine and Power Equipment on lap number 4 with 5 from Big D's Novelty Booth.
The battle goes on back for 6th place. There's John Rosati and Reggie Ruggiero fighting it out. Here's Sachs trying to get inside Hirschman again for second as they dive into turn 1. It'll be Hirschman holding off Sachs for look. McLaughlin and Ross fighting for 4th. The battle begins to get tight as the tires heat up and the drivers get more comfortable in their cars. Ross holds 4th, McLaughlin 5th. 6th is Ken Ruggiero on the outside. 7th, 8th is Rosati. 9th is now. 8th is Jazambek. 9th is Rosati, and diving inside for 10th will be Mike Stefanik. Pasteryak 6th and 11th.
A couple of drivers to keep a close eye on, Dave, at this early stage of the race. The 5 of Jarzambek, the 11 of Ruggiero. Both drivers turned incredible time. The 2 fastest times turned yesterday, and they are hooked up running an outside groove. They take it deep into turn number 1. Ruggiero on the outside of McLaughlin. They get hooked up together. Jarzambek waits in the wings. John Rosati also moves by George Kent. Here comes Mike Stefanik. The battle is raging from one end of the racetrack to the other, with the exception of first place. Out front is still Tomato.
Hirschman holding off the field. Brian Ross and Greg Sachs are doing a number on his back bumper. There's Sachs to the outside. Greg Sachs has gotten the best of Tony Hirschman. Here's Ross. He's found room on the outside as well. And there goes Reggie Ruggiero trying to move into 5th place.
9 laps down. 9 laps now. Posted up on the scoreboard. That lead that Tomato had developed is beginning to go away ever so slightly as Red
will not give ground. But Tomato's lead is beginning to dwindle up front. You can see Sachs and Ross hooking up to try to run it down. Hirschman goes 4th. 5th is Jazambek pounding on the back bumper. Then Ruggiero, Rosati, McLaughlin, and Kent.
Lap sponsorship. Lap number 6, Don and Marilyn Toole. Colleen and Wyatt Dawn out of Rochester, New York. The Stafford Paper Company with lap number 7. Chester Small for lap number 8. 9 to D'Amico Electric. 10 dedicated to the memory of Ed Lemke from Your Family in Plantation, Florida. 11 Superior Games. And lap number 12, Manchester Packing Company.
One car dropping out. Mamalita with a flat right front tire. His crew's going to have to go to work quickly on the right side of the car to get it back in the race before he loses a lap. Your leader still Tomato. Sachs is pulled away from Ross in 2nd. Ross goes 3rd. 4th now is Jazambek. Hirschman 5th. 6th is Ruggiero. 7th, Rosati. 8th, McLaughlin. 9th, Kent. And right now, sitting in the 10th place is Mike Stefanik.
As they stand right now, David, only a couple of drivers are venturing outside of that main groove. The first one is the 28 of Georgie Brunholzl running on the outside of Jeff Fuller as they work their way down the long back straightaway. The second driver has been Jimmy Spencer. Mr. Excitement is living up to that name once again as Spencer has managed to really beat his way up through the pack. A lot of smoke now coming out of the right rear of the Jerry Cranmer automobile, and he takes it deep into turn number 1. Watch for problems to develop there as Cranmer's car smokes heavily off the second turn. Starter Chris Hopkins has the consultation flag out for him. We continue with 16 laps completed. Lap number 13, a presentation of Hoosier Tire East. R&R Automotive for lap number 14. Casella Speed Warehouse on 15. Conrad LaJoy Plumbing and Heating on 16. Reese's Flea Markets on lap 17. 18 from Ronnie's Food Service. 19 Manchester Royal Heat. And 20 the Hoosier Tire East.
Up front, still leading. Tomato, but look who's right on his bumper now. It's Tomato and Sachs with Brian Ross. Jazombek has taken 4th. Hirschman still holds the field off in 5th. Ruggiero, Rosati, McLaughlin want to get a piece of the action and hammer their way up through. Some good infighting going on toward the back of the field, too, as a number of cars are trying to pick off some positions. Papalito not up to speed yet. He's going to end up getting another lap down before this one's too far down the road, as Jamie Tomato and Reggie Ruggiero are bumper to bumper now. Here, not Ruggiero, but Greg Sachs. Sachs right up behind Tomato now. There's your battle for the lead going into turn 1.
Greg Sachs has won this race once before. He takes a bit for the lead down the inside. He can't find room that time as John Anderson takes a little cruise through the infield. He picks up a little dirt real estate. He's able to get back out onto the racetrack. We remain under green. 19 laps up on the scoreboard as Sachs wants to become a repeat winner in this event. Only a couple of years ago when Greg Sachs was driving for the Ernie Rosberg team did he take down a win in this event, and he would like to do it again today behind the wheel of the Mario Fiore car number 44. Jamie Tomato, however, is right dead in front of him with car number 99, and Tomato is doing a masterful job in holding him off.
The other man doing a masterful job of holding everybody off is Tony Hirschman. Still sits on some of the back markers in the field. Here's Sachs on the outside of Tomato down the backstretch.
Even at turn number 3, up on the high groove is Greg Sachs, winner of the July 4th Firecracker 400 at Daytona Beach. He is trying everything in the book to get around Tomato. They all but brushed wheels into turn number 1. Side by side. Off the second turn, they come together. Sachs has a flat left front tire. Sachs is on the brakes and brings the Mario Fiore 44 in. He has a flat left front tire. He can't make the turn. He's off the pit road. He is way wide, trying to get to his pitting area, which is way down near the front of pit road. Greg Sachs loses the lap in the pits as the field thunders on by. Lap sponsorship shapes up this way. Lap number 21, the Southern New England Egg Company. Jack Neusner, Superior Cross Company for lap number 22. Velcro Performance Gaskets for lap number 23. George J. Summers Trucking on 24. Bob Pendergast for lap number 25. D&J Racing as lap number 26. Red of Jaffrey for lap number 27. 28, R&R Automotive. B&C Automotive Machine for lap 29, and KGM Video on lap number 30.
Ruggiero, rather Sachs, is back on the track. He's down 2 as he rejoins the field. Tomato continues to be your leader, but he's got Brian Ross and Charlie Jazombek right behind him now in turn 4. That's where the lead cars are. Then the battle is behind them for 5th on back. You'll see Hirschman, Ruggiero, Rosati, McLaughlin, and on the outside, Brunholzl coming down to cross the start-finish line.
Car number 75, the Carl Pasteryak Coors Silver Bullet Machine is into the pit area as his crew is all over the right front of that car, unable to determine at this point exactly what the problem is. Passing flag now beginning to be displayed to Tommy Baldwin as the lead trio begins to move its way in. Brian Ross, Charlie Jazombek side by side in the battle for that second spot. Ross is able to hold on as he runs the high groove. Charlie J., who won the Busch Dash here yesterday afternoon and pocketed $5 grand, sits 3rd on the grid, and he actually hangs his hand out the window and points to something either on his car or Brian Ross's car.
I think he's trying to tell his crew he may need to have something done to the car. He's trying to put it down low, and that time off turn 4, it was a little bit squirrely. Now the leaders are up behind the Tommy Baldwin automobile. Baldwin will have to give way and work as a pick. That'll keep Ross from going to the inside of Jamie Tomato into turn 1. and it works well for Tomeno as he gets by one of the slower vehicles on the track right now. But Ross comes back to put the pressure on Tomeno up front into turn 4.
Brian Ross has always been a superb chauffeur in extra distance races here at the Stafford Motor Speedway. He manages to set that car up so it goes better and better as the race progresses. And Ross appears to be in excellent shape with 31 laps up on the Winston Racing Series line for 33. Ronnie's Food Service for lap 34 and Home Pride Provisions for lap 35.
Still that interesting battle. Tony Hirschman holding off Ruggiero, Rosati, and Brunholzl down into turn number 1. That's the battle that's going on right now for 4th on back, and they are still not able to do anything. Jazombek way wide going into turn 4, almost took it up to the fence, trying to go to the outside of Brian Ross. Jazombek staying with it, manhandling that automobile. He's had it sideways a couple of times already.
In pre-race ceremonies, Jamie Tomeno had driven his car to the pole position and said that he knew he would draw pole. He started there and has not relinquished that spot since the race began. Jamie Tomeno, car number 99, works his way through turns 1 and 2 with Brian Ross. The Daddario and Ross, West Hartford Juvenile Chevrolet, right on his rear bumper. Here comes Jarzambek with another try to the outside lane. 34 laps, green so far, all the way. As Tomeno continues to set the pace, here comes Charlie up on the outside.
Charlie goes to the outside of Brian Ross. He may be able to get a shot at second place if he can stay out there. He and George Brunholzl are the only 2 cars that can run the outside right now. Here's the battle for second now. That'll give Tomeno a break if something happens. Ross on the inside. Jarzambek on the outside. Tomeno lead across the line. It's Tomeno with the lead as we clip off 36 now out of 80 laps. And there's Jarzambek.
Charlie picked up the spot. He gained that spot by driving around Brian Ross. He now intends to do the same thing with Jamie Tomeno. He's trying to draw Tomeno up just a little bit coming off the turn, so he'll open the door. Tomeno leaves the door open going into turn number 1, but Charlie doesn't have the horses. Here's Brian again. Ross down the inside. He moves in to try to pick up that second spot. Charlie again caught on the outside of this half-mile racetrack. What a sizzler this is turning out to be.
Sizzler again. Here comes Jazombek back to the outside, and there's going to be some lap traffic. If he can get alongside Tomeno, he could probably pick him off. Here he goes to the outside again, hoping that he can catch the lap traffic before he gets back out again. Jazombek on the outside of Jamie Tomeno now, off turn number 4. We've got trouble off 2. Hirschman spins in front of Ruggiero. Tony Hirschman, who held the field behind him and kept everybody at bay, comes around in turn 2.
1 lap shy of the halfway marker in this, the 15th annual Coors Spring Sizzler here at the Stafford Motor Speedway. And what a barn burner this has been, David.
Boy, it has been a beauty so far. I was thinking maybe we could go. And look, we've got Sachs on pit road. We've got Ray Miller, Stan Greger, and John Anderson all coming in under caution to get tires changed. Sachs, who has already had 1 tire change and lost a couple of laps, is going to have to go down again if he's not careful. Ruggiero is in on pit road, and Hirschman, who plenty of it, through 38 laps. Lap 36 brought to you by Home Pride Provisions, then 37 to Manchester Packing Company. Junior's Auto Supply on lap 38, Red and Art Service Station lap 39. At the halfway mark, it'll be Malleus Snack Sales at lap 41. It'll be Speedway Press Incorporated lap 42. Jack Neusner, Superior Process Company, lap 43, the Southern New England Egg Company, lap 44, Canoyer Construction, and lap 45, the Hoosier Tire East.
Lap number 46 will be a presentation of Ronnie's Food.
Brian Ross with George Brunholzl. Here they come, looking for green. The green is out. Tomeno cuts it down low. Jazombek to the outside, loose and hard. They run close, but not door to door. Tomeno takes it down low, drifts up to the second groove. Jazombek stays with him. And it'll be Tomeno taking the lead down the back straightaway with Jazombek, Ross, Brunholzl, and Rosati. Then it's Corky Cookman, Mike Stefanik. Bob Polverari has come up to join the top 10.
As they cross the stripe, 39 laps now, closer to the Winston Racing Series scoreboard. Jamie Tomeno has found a way to hook that car up on the bottom groove of this racetrack, which literally forces anyone who wants to go around him to that outside groove. No stranger to that groove, however, is our defending track champion, Charlie Jarzambek, as Sergeant Charlie crosses the line with everyone else at the halfway mark. 40 down and 40 to go.
And go they do. Tomeno leads them off turn 2 for the 41st time this afternoon. Tomeno. Then it's Jerzambek, Ross, Brunholzel. Let's take you back a little further before anything else develops. 5th is Rosati, then Cookman, Stefanik, Pulverary. Back to Tim Airy, who's having a good run. 10th is Dave Resendez. Jerry Marquis has moved up along with Ray Miller. And here's a battle back for about 13th between Spencer and Fuller.
Side by side, that Spencer and Fuller race. Also, right directly behind them is another side-by-side battle between Ruggiero and Greg Sachs. Sachs, however, is down at least a couple of laps as Ruggiero goes to the outside of Spencer. Believe it or not, he gets hooked up off the second turn, and we've got a challenge for the lead once again, as Jerzambek has managed to plant that Ernie Wilsberg Chevrolet on the outside of this speedway and tries again to make a move on Tomeno. Boy, they are the door handle off the second turn. Down the back straightaway they go. It's 550 feet in length. Into the turn is Jerzambek by a nose. Tomeno still has that low groove, however. They continue to run side by side. Charlie almost to the wall, and a new leader on lap number 44. It is Charlie Jerzambek.
Jerzambek took advantage of the fact that Tomeno got a little too hard on the gas and came a little bit sideways, scrubbed off the speed. Now the battle for second is Tomeno and Ross with Brunholzel waiting. Rosati and Cookman behind them, and they're still dicing it up at the back of the field. But right now it's Charlie J. He begins to pull away. Into turn 1, it's Jerzambek. Ross has taken over second spot. Tomeno goes back to third. Brunholzel fourth. Buck Stevens on pit road, and also here comes John Anderson.
Laps continue to tick away. Charlie Jerzambek did exactly what he did here yesterday afternoon at the Busch Dash. Jerzambek sat for about halfway of the race, running off of the pace. Suddenly puts the hammer down and moves to the outside. He worked over the rest of the field and picked up the lead to go on to win $5,000. It looks like that is the same philosophy that Sergeant Charlie and the Wilsberg crew will try here today, as Jerzambek ran hard, but didn't really, in fact, put his foot into it until just about the halfway mark. John Anderson back on pit road. He is going to call it a
Trouble
day.
in turn 2. We've got Jeff Fuller into the wall. Jeff Fuller catching the barrier going into turn number 2.
Series scoreboard. Here's how things shape up. Holding down the lead, car number 5 for Sergeant Charlie Jerzambek. In the second position, it's the 73 of Brian Ross, followed by the 99 of Jamie Tomeno, the 28 of George Brunholzel, the 71 of John Rosati, the 04 of Corky Cookman, the 15 of Mike Stefanik, the 711 for Bob Pulverary. Those, of course, are unofficial, as Reggie. Top 4 cars. As the pace car now begins to pull away. He'll dive for the infield. Jerzambek quickens the pace immediately. The green flag is out, and Sergeant Charlie picks up where he left off, a little squirrely off the turn. Brian Ross moves into that second spot up from the outside row, dropping Tomeno back into third. Here comes the 71 of Johnny Rosati down on the inside. Rosati makes a move down the back straightaway. He has control of the 4th position. Not for long, however, as Brunholzel tries to get hooked up on the outside. As he does that, Stefanik moves in on the inside. Wheel-to-wheel door handle racing all the way around the half mile.
The battle going on right now. There's Brunholzel in trouble again in turn 2. His outside moves are no longer working, and Corky Cookman picks off a spot. The leader, Jerzambek. Ross second, third is Tomeno, 4th Rosati, and 5th right now, Mike Stefanik. 6th goes to Cookman, 7th to Brunholzel. 8th is Miller. Sachs trying to work his way up the field and get a lap back. 9th is Pulverary. 10th right now, Jimmy Spencer, and 11th, Kenny Bouchard in the 3. Resendez is 12th, McLaughlin is 13th, and 14th is Jerry Marquis on the outside. 15th inside is George Kidd.
The real story on the racetrack right now happens to be, and it has to be, Greg Sachs of the Mario Fiore car. Car number 44 that has been driven to victory so many times here at the Speedway found itself 2 laps down early on in the race as a result of a cut tire. Greg Sachs, Grand National, Winston Cup star, has control of that automobile, and he is trying desperately to speed his way back through the pack and unlap himself. Sachs now works to the outside of the 04 of Corky Cookman. He takes that number 44 deep into the turn right behind Stefanik. Sachs currently sits 6th on the racetrack. He moves in to make a bid for 5th. It is conceivable, Dave. It is unbelievable that Zach still could, some way, somehow, pull this thing off.
Indeed he could. He could be, in fact, only one lap down. We do not have anything official. Ross tries the inside of Jazombek, and there's nothing there. Charlie shut the door, and Ryan has to back off and regather himself. Tomeno still third. Sachs trying to get that lap back and hoping gets a caution so he can join the rear of the field. Then it's Rosati in fourth. Fifth is Stefanik. Sixth is Cookman. Seventh is Brunholzl. Spencer is up to eighth now. Bouchard, ninth, 10th on the outside Miller, and 11th is Bob Olvereri. Working their way, Stefanik working over the back bumper of Rosati, trying to get that fourth place on the field. Remember, Greg Sachs lost a lap in the pits when he had to go in for a tire change. It's conceivable he could unlap himself. He gets to the outside of Tomeno, and he's picked up another spot on his quest to get to the top of the field.
In 1981, Greg Sachs finished fourth in this race. He won the next 2 years. Last year, a disaster for Sachs as he finished 26th. He would like nothing better than to be able to come back and win this one. As we said, improbable, but not impossible. He sits third on the racetrack right now behind Brian Ross. He looks to the outside of Ross. He's going to do it, David. He is going to pick up at least one lap and then hope for a caution period.
Here he goes, outside of Ross. No room there. Ryan isn't going to give way to anybody, but he might. Ross is high. Here's Sachs. Sticks the nose of the Fiore 44 inside. He could get up to the second spot on the field. He will not be in second place. He's got to make up at least one more lap, or at least the lap he's on now. He'll challenge Jazombek, and here he is.
He certainly has gained the one spot, and now it's just Charlie J between Greg and making up one lap. We will have to double check that, but we believe he is down two. He is down but one lap. The official word from the scorers, he is down but one lap. If he can make this up, it is very possible that Greg Sachs, if he got the right brakes, could go on to win this. He is but one lap down. Can he put himself in the same lap as the leader? This time around, he might just do it.
Sachs trying to get that lap back, goes inside Jazombek, way down inside on the apron, gets the car sideways and ducks underneath. He's got it. No, he doesn't yet. Wait a minute. Hold on. Keep your seats, ladies and gentlemen. It's Greg Sachs trying to get his lap back. Jazombek may not know he's down a lap and he's racing for the lead, but he's got it back. Sachs is on the tail end of the lead lap now. He's got to go all the way around and back to the front to take over the lead.
But he's still got 20 laps to do it. Greg Sachs can now pray for a caution. He could run in, change tires, and be in the best shape of anybody on the racetrack. And he undoubtedly has the quickest machine on the racetrack. He has unlapped himself. He now has to pray for a caution period so that he can go around and make things up. Back to lap sponsorship, if we can. Lap number 69 and lap number 70 will be a presentation of Red and Arts Service Station.
On the racetrack, you've still got a good battle up front as Charlie Jazombek continues to hold on to challenges of Brian Ross. Jamie Tomeno sits in third. Fourth is Cookman now. Fifth is Mike Stefanik. Sixth is Jimmy Spencer. He's really made up a lot of ground. Kenny Bouchard is seventh. Eighth is Rosati. Ninth is Brunholzl. 10th is Miller. 11th is McLaughlin. 10th is 13th. Or 12th. 13th is Olvereri. 14th right now. Brazil trouble in turn 4. We almost lost Stefanik as he got tapped from behind by Spencer. Got the car sideways, but he's regained it, and he still sits in front of Spencer and Kenny Bouchard.
Round and round we go with 65 laps marked off now. The hopes of one Greg Sachs have to be going away. We're down to just about 14 to go here, and Sachs still has a long, long way to run. He has nearly 2/3 of a mile to make up in order to challenge for the lead. He has managed to gain back the lap that he lost earlier. But as it stands now, he needs a caution period to do it. 66 laps up on the Winston Racing Series scoreboard. Lap number 71 will be a presentation of 7A Productions. 72 of Jack Neusner Superior Process Company. Lap number 73 from Corey and Ryan Posaco. Lap number 74, Manchester Royal Heat. And lap number 75 from Hoosier Tire East.
Well, the battle up front, a couple of clusters of race cars fighting for position right now, while you've got the 1 and 2 battle with Jazombek and Ross up front. All by himself is Tomeno in third. Fourth is Cookman. The battle for fifth is Mike Stefanik, Jimmy Spencer, and Kenny Bouchard. Then back to 8th place, you've got Brunholzl. 9th is Miller, and 10th right now, George Kent. Trailing him, Mike McLaughlin, Bob Olvereri, and John Rosati.
Next time
that showed smoke. He is dropping to the inside, and Brian Ross goes by. The Wilsburg automobile is in trouble. Ross leads. Tomeno is second. Third now is Cookman. Fourth is Stefanik, 5th, Spencer 6th, Kenny Bouchard. Everybody moves up the line, and Ross is alone in the lead.
What an incredible turn of events. Charlie J simply wheels that car behind the pit wall on New York. Car number 73, Jamie Tomeno. Runs in the second spot with car number 99. Then it is Corky Cookman, the 04, and Cookman has managed to close right in on the rear bumper. Cookman now challenges for that second spot. He can't turn it into payday, but he is putting up a serious challenge. 6 laps still remain in this 80-lap feature event. The battle right now, the hot spot, is for second, for third, fourth, fifth, and sixth, as we have a three-way battle for those last 3 positions that we mentioned, with Mike Stefanik, Jimmy Spencer, and Ken Bouchard all doing nose-to-tail battles around this half-mile oval. Lap number 75 on the scoreboard. Brian Ross, not a serious one this time. He just took a look to the outside of Tomeno, had to tuck it back in, but he continues to look to the high side of Jamie Tomeno. Tomeno and Cookman, Stefanik, Spencer right around sideways behind Mike Stefanik, and Kenny Bouchard can do nothing but watch and hope that his opportunity will come as well. 77 laps are posted as Dave Rosendez and Jerry Marquis briefly come together off of turn number 4. Everybody's okay. We remain under green. The 2-lap marker is out. Final 2 circuits for this, the 1986 edition of the Coors Spring Sizzler. Lap number 79 will be ticked off on the scoreboard as Brian Ross works his way off of turn number 4. Let's pick him up and follow him around one final time. White flag for Brian Ross into turn number 1. The orange number 73 heads down the back straightaway as a challenge for second continues. Look at that with Cookman down the inside, Tomeno up on the outside. It's Brian Ross's race, no question about that, but who's in for second? It looks like Corky Cookman is going to dip it for second at the line. He does. It'll be Cookman in for second. Tomeno finishing in 3rd spot, followed by the 15 of Stefanik, the 24 of Spencer, and the 3 of Kenny Bouchard. Those, of course, all unofficial, but that's the way it appears, at least from this vantage point. What a race it turned out to be. The 1986 edition of the Spring Sizzler here at the Stafford Motor Speedway. We went through virtually every emotion you can go through with racing as Charlie Jarzambek put up a tremendous battle to finally grab the lead from Jamie Tomeno, go on and lead the race and hold off challenges by virtually everyone on the racetrack, only to find the engine give up on lap number 70. Brian Ross to take over at that point. The change for second on the very last 200 feet of the racetrack. Drama right to the very end. And what better way to bring the curtain down on this Sunday afternoon's event than to welcome to Winston Victory Lane, from Ballston Spa, New York, flying Brian Ross. Let's go trackside. Here's David.
Very happy man unstrapping here in Victory Lane. A hard-fought win. And I'm sure he was glad to see a little puff of smoke come out of the Charlie Jarzambek automobile as he unstraps the West Hartford tool and die number 73 and gets the appropriate headgear together. He'll also have to take off seat belts, and soon we will have our Victory Lane out here, and we will be able to present to you, ladies and gentlemen, as the photographers get their first look at the victor in this 15th annual Coors Spring Sizzler. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give him a big hand, our winner, Brian Ross. Brian Ross, let's step up right here on the podium so everybody can get a good look at a handsome young man who some 10 or 12 years back got his first New England victory. You're the one that wants to be a broadcaster. Get your practice now, Brian.
Thanks very much. I wanted to win this so much because of the dedication to Richie, you know. And his son told me that he'd see me up here in Victory Lane. I wish he could be here with us. This is dedicated to Richie. I love the man. He's been so good to me. You can take it back today.
Congratulations, Brian Ross. We get your head back into the race for just a minute. you really had your hands full. First of all, with you guys trying to get around Jamie, who did a super job of holding you off, and you also had to work around Tony Hirschman for a while. What did you feel the car was doing best for you today?
Well, I knew the track was slippery, and I knew I just had to run a nice, smooth groove. I didn't want to wrestle with anybody out there. You know, Charlie came along, and he seemed a little bit faster for the moment, and I don't think I could have done anything with him. You know, we were both hanging on there, and the track was slippery, and I knew it wasn't right to stop for tires because you could only go a couple laps faster, and then you're going to be slippery again. And I guess running a lot of races here, you learn things with experience, and I feel bad that Charlie dropped out. He and I raced real good together, and you know, I'm glad I won, though. He had a little good luck here yesterday.
Well, it's certainly a welcome victory. We have some folks from Coors who would like to step up here and talk to you. Gil, Clayton, and Peter are standing by, and I'm sure that Gil King, Peter, and Clayton Murphy would like to hand over some coats. Pete Holmes is here to bring up some more folks to join us in Victory Lane as the cameras continue to snap. Of course, our hats off to Corky Cookman and Jamie Tomeno, who finished in second and third positions, and they'll be up here with us in just a couple of minutes. Grace.
Absolutely. It's a wonderful day for Stafford, and it's a wonderful day for Coors.
Boy, congratulations and nice running. And Brian?
I don't know how many laps I led there, but I understand it's $50 a lap to lead, and I'll give $25 of that to the Richie Evans Memorial Fund for $25 each lap I led.
That's a nice thought. Thanks, Brian. Let's... Kelly Riley.
The fans got their money's worth here today. Congratulations, Brian.
Jocks, all the people from Boston Spa up there, all the support you've given me over the years, thanks a lot. Thanks to Winston and Coors.
Hold on to that. Keep talking.
All right. Reminds me to keep talking. Here, put a hat on. What kind of hat have I got? Gatorade. Open that up to the last one there.
Well, of course, the winner of each of our Gatorade Circle of Champions races gets a $1,000 bonus award from Gatorade Thirst Quencher, the official thirst quencher of NASCAR. Gatorade's $1,000 win for each of the 25 races in the Winston Modified Tour. Also $2,500 to the 1986 Series champion. A nice plaque to go with you as well. The plaque will remind you of the check, which will probably long be spent before that ever gets too dusty. Special, and I'll let Carolyn or Eddie, who wants to make the presentation? JR gets to do it. Okay.
Well, Brian, my father would have been real proud of you. Last year was an honor given to Richie. He couldn't be here with us today, but we're thinking of him. We're proud to have you with us. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Eddie. Eddie, your father Eddie was always a good friend to me, and I remember one time, after many years of trying hard, I got to pass him on the outside at Malta. He was really running lousy that night, you know, and somebody said that I had done my homework after that, but it was always an honor to race with him. He's a true gentleman.
Well, thank you, Brian.
Thank you very much.
Is that the Weisco one? No, okay. Well, of course, we have both owner and driver awards. Carolyn, why don't you step in here? I don't need to see me too much in this.
Yeah. Okay, everybody over here.
I don't have that on my list. Why don't you write that in for me real quick? Okay.
Ralph Ridgway, and then it goes to the line. Say what it is. Right here.
That's for the winner?
Everybody's here. What's up with that one?
Thank you. Nice piece of driving to snap off that second spot. And of course, here's Ralph Ridgway. Ralph, I'll let you make the presentation here.
Okay, this is for Outstanding Performance Award. I don't want to take anything away from Brian because I think he put on a good show, but Corky started 16th and came up to second, and I think that he deserves Outstanding Performance Award.
Congratulations, Corky, on a nice run and a second-place finish. We'll have him up along with our third-place finisher again in just a moment.
David, let me just jump in here for a second. Ted Christopher, please report to the infield. Ted Christopher, to the infield, immediately, please.
Now I'd like to, excuse me, didn't mean to step on you, Russ. Let's bring up one of the very important awards, our 8th annual DeCero Memorial Award. Len Bowler, Jack Canavan, Bill Sloboda, and the crew, including Dave Hodgson, Bob Lord, and Charlie Mann, who have been presenting the Performance Award for many years. And Bill, you guys have had a chance to think it over. Who today will join the likes of Ron Bouchard, Buck Stevens, Bob Pulveray, Reggie Ruggiero, Brett Bedine, Corky Cookman, and Brian Ross as our Performance DeCero Award winner today?
Well, first of all, Dave, I'd like to thank the management of Stafford for all of the help that they've given us throughout the years. And we'd like to acknowledge and let them know how much we appreciate their perpetuating the heritage of modified racing, particularly with the Hall of Fame and naming the grandstands for 3 of the greatest, Richie, Eddie, and Fred DeCero. As you know, Fred was an exceptional driver as well as an exceptional person. And one thing that Fred could be counted on for any race was to put on an outstanding performance. And with every Sizzler, there were many outstanding performances today, but the one that we thought was the most outstanding was for Charlie Jazombek.
Charlie Jazombek, are you with us? There you are. How are you today? Given the circumstances of the race, I should say.
Well, these fellas just made my whole weekend. This is the best thing that happened to me in a long time. I waited a lot of years for this.
Well, congratulations. You had a great run while the old power plant held up, and it looked like that car was really hooked up today.
Yeah, it was going okay. And the funny thing is, when I went to shut the switch off, it kept running. So it made me ignition again.
It was trying to tell you something, I'm sure. Well, congratulations for joining some very select company as this year's winner of the Fred DeCero Memorial Award.
Dexter, trophy? Yeah, this is the trophy.
We have a trophy we'll bring up for you in a second as the trophy gang, our official trophy gnome, will have it over here for us in a moment. And here it is, something that will be very prominent on Charlie's trophy case, I'm sure. Competitive performance in the race. Receives a check for $150 from Weisco Pistons from the Weisco Richie Evans Performance Award, and presenting this award each of the 25 races from the NASCAR Winston Modified Tour. And as you can see, today it goes to Greg Sachs. And Greg Sachs, you had some work cut out for you running up front. You had to go back, change tires. You got your lap back, and we're really, if you'd had another 40, you'd have been all set.
Well, it just wasn't seem to be our day today, but I'm really proud to get this award. And I'd just like to thank all the fans that are left here for all the support they gave for the real worthy cause. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Greg. Good luck on their future races. We'll see you back here at Stafford. I know before the year's over. Now, 2 guys have been waiting in the wings. They put on a great show and a heck of a finish. Let's bring up our second and third place finishers. Pole sitter Jamie Tomato finishing third, and Corky Cookman, our second place finisher. Right along with our winner, Brian Ross. Jamie, you said I parked my car up front, you got the pole, and you hung on there for a long time.
Yeah, I did. Well, for a while there, we had Charlie J and Brian, the 2 champs there. And I was in pretty, hot shoes behind me there for a while. We hung on as long as we could, and we're happy we came away with this third. It's the first time I finished one of these Spring Sizzler, so I'm happy.
Well, boy, I'll tell you, I'm glad you are. And, of course, Corky Cookman, you had to work your tail off there, but you managed to pull it out right at the end. Did Jamie give you a lot of hard times?
Yeah, well, it was a pretty hard time. Everybody could see. I guess I was lucky Jamie kind of tore the tires off a little bit, and so I was able to get by him. He gave me a real good race and very, very clean driver.
Well, congratulations on your second place finish here. And, of course, he's already picked up 1 performance award. These guys have done a super job. Let's give our top 3 finishers a big hand.
Well, some final thoughts, David. Would have to start off with this one. I guess mainly it was a sizzler. What more can you say? This one will go into the record books and will be remembered for many, many a season. And it will be remembered as the sizzler that was won by Brian Ross. We also hope that it'll be remembered as a sizzler that was held on a beautiful, sunshiny afternoon that signaled the start of what is going to be another successful season here at the Stafford Motor Speedway. We get started with our regular Friday night show just a couple of weeks down the road on Friday night, May number 2. Saturday nights, of course, it's off to the Waterford Speed Bowl, and the gates swing open there for their regular Saturday night programs on May 3rd. Now, the last Sunday of this month, the 27th of this month of April, the Blast-Off program, the race which will feature the late model street cars and the SK modifieds at Waterford, that is slated for Sunday the 27th. The official finish, as we said, is still not complete at this time. As soon as it is, that will be passed along to you. But we would like to take just a moment to express all of our thanks. Our thanks, first of all, to the folks who made this race possible, starting with all of the sponsors who were involved in making this one of the greatest races ever here at the Stafford Motor Speedway. We would also like to take our opportunity to thank each and every one of you for taking time out of your schedule to spend the Sunday here in the Connecticut Valley with us.